Welcome to another episode of the Miami Real Estate Show. Today, I have the pleasure to interview Chris Leavitt, top producer with Douglas Elliman. Not only a top producer in Miami, but also in New York and West Palm Beach. You've seen him in Fox Business News, The Street with Maria Bartiromo, and of course, the $1 million listing. The insights he's about to share with you in the Miami Real Estate Show are amazing. How he got started in the business, what he has done, not only to become a top producer, but just this year to close over $100 million in sales. How to maximize productivity and how to organize your time. I don't want to give it away, all the great information Chris shared with us during the interview. So without further ado, I leave you with Chris Leavitt from Douglas Elliman, a top producer not only in Miami, but in New York and West Palm Beach. Make it a very, very great day. Take care, guys.
This week's featured property will be a landmark 25-story symbol of elegance and exclusivity poised to become an icon with incomparable luxury like nothing else in Palm Beach, now or ever. The Bristol Palm Beach. Just a moment from one of the most privileged corners of the world. The Bristol's luminary roster of residents will have the most exclusive condominium address with breathtaking unobstructed views of the Atlantic Ocean, Intracoastal Waterway, and Palm Beach Island. With amenities in the same category as the world's leading luxury resort properties and residences, featuring the highest grade of finishes available, the Bristol strikes a balance of optimal comfort, elite service and refined accommodation, setting the highest standard of Palm Beach condominium living yet to be seen. For more information, contact Christopher Leavitt at 917-664-0720.
Welcome to another episode of the Miami Real Estate Show. Today, I have the true pleasure and honor to have Chris Leavitt in the show. Chris, thank you very much for being in the show.
Thank you for having me.
And if people don't know you, you write for The Street. You are with Maria Bartiromo every 2 weeks on TV. You've been in the $1 million listing. So,
yes.
I mean, not only very famous real estate agent, but very knowledgeable. And that's what I want to take today from the interview.
Okay.
So the way I would like to get started is, tell me, how long have you been in the business of real estate? Why real estate?
Okay, so I've been in the real estate business for about 20 years.
Okay.
I know I look younger, but anyway, no, I'm kidding.
Good. That's 20 years, a long time.
A long time.
Okay, so
I started the day after I graduated college.
Okay.
I went to USC in Los Angeles, University of Southern California.
Nice, very nice.
And
you're from Boston.
From Boston,
Okay.
and I said I want to sell real estate in New York City. Hollywood was not for me at the time. I was just
Why
like,
not?
I saw too much.
Okay.
I think of the inside of it all. And I'm like,
Okay. Strange place.
Yeah, I want to be a businessman. I want to, work in
Right.
New York City. And I was told by someone very smart that at one point in your life you have to live in New York City. It's important. It's like a graduate school.
Okay.
Right, for just growing up.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Because we met in person
Yes.
3 weeks ago when I was conducting the panel for the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
We had five great panelists, and you were one of them.
Thank you.
And mention what you said about Miami, Los Angeles, and New York.
Oh, what did I say? Oh, the three
Remember?
top cities.
No, but
Oh.
you said California, you go if you want to be somebody, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. But someone else did.
Somebody else?
Yes, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
But it was fun.
It's okay.
It was,
No, you're right. But
So-
who said that?
I thought it was you. California, you go
Oh, it
to
was the guy
California.
next to me.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you want to be somebody, you go to California. If
Yeah.
you are somebody,
Yeah.
you go to New York.
Right.
And if you want to forget what you were, you come to Miami.
Exactly. That's true. That's true.
All
But
right.
that's very, very profound.
Okay. All right. So tell me about New York.
So then I moved to New York, and immediately everyone's saying, I interviewed with three companies: the Corcoran Group, Douglas Elliman, and Feathered Nest, some random company that
Okay.
used to rent out my dad's units that he owns in Manhattan.
Okay.
So I went to them first because I was like, oh, maybe I'll definitely get the job there because they deal with my father's business.
Okay.
She said I was too young and that I needed to work under an assistant.
Okay.
Corcoran and Douglas Elliman both said, welcome aboard.
Okay.
You don't seem like the type of person who is going to work well with somebody. You need to be doing this yourself.
Okay.
Because, when you start out in the real estate business, you want to mentor with somebody or work under or be an assistant. That was not me.
Okay, right.
It has never been me. It just is not going to work.
Okay.
So it was interesting that the two top firms in the city at the time welcomed me with an open arms, and this other person didn't. So it goes to show that people see talent when they're at the top of their game. These people were just another case. So I chose Corcoran because it was near my apartment that I was moving into. And
huge company in New York.
Yes, great company. I mean, they're both wonderful. Obviously, I'm with Douglas Elliman now, but chose them. And within really 3 weeks, I had listings 3.5 million, 2 million, and I didn't know anybody in New York.
But how come? What did you do during the first 3 weeks to get those listings?
Okay, so back in the day, there were for sale by owners. Okay, but it was called an open listing.
Okay.
And basically, everyone was so busy. The market was good, you know, in the mid 90s at the time. So people were just busy. They weren't focusing on that. They weren't noticing these listings. And I just went after all of them, and I got them because I met them in person. I sold myself. You know, people would ask me, "How long have you been in the business?" I'd say, "Oh, too long." It's like 2 days. You know? So you know, I just would pretend that
went around that.
Yes, exactly. And so I got them and really just started selling like that, and then started mailing to the buildings and doing the old school stuff that we do as agents, and my business grew, and then I didn't partner with somebody, but I actually had a big listing on Central Park West, and the owner said, "I know you're 22 years old. Okay. I found out. And I don't really think that you're equipped to do this." These were two older guys. And I don't know, for whatever reason, they wanted me to get someone higher. So I worked with Sharon Baum. She was at the time the #1 agent in New York. And that was the smartest connection that I did because I co-listed it with her. And by co-listing it with her, she then sent me all her downtown business, because a lot of these Upper East Side ladies, they don't even want to know about downtown. You know, they don't even know where it is or what's going on there. They live and
their
work in their
own world.
Yeah, so she had so much business, and then she sent me Dell, the owner of Dell Computers.
Oh my
So he
God.
became my huge client, and his family, and
Michael?
Adam, the brother.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So there was a lot of business had from that, and then that just skyrocketed. And his friends. So my business grew incredibly high. And then in 2001, I had my best summer in 2001. I was probably going to get about $1 million in commissions. September 11th happened, and it was all new construction, and I lost every single deal. That was my first wake-up call in real estate to say, save your money. Don't spend your money before
Very good
the
advice.
checks.
Very good advice.
Do not spend your money until that check is cleared the bank at the closing.
Right.
And that was a really big awakening, and that really matured me a lot in the industry, and also taught me how to really ride those waves of the ups and the downs in our market. So that was really interesting. And then I moved to Miami in 2009 to sell the W South Beach.
Wow.
And I was given that as I was the head of sales there with a couple other people, and the developer was a client of mine in New York, David Edelstein, and he actually gave me an apartment at the W. That was part of my negotiating. I was like, I'll come down, but I want a nice two-bedroom at the W. So I lived in the building.
Oceanfront view.
It's a nice ocean view. Lived at the W and actually sold out of the lobby every day because we had a desk in the lobby.
That's the best place.
It was
of
great.
course.
It was awesome.
Now, did you have a mentor?
Yes. So when
through this process?
Okay, so when I was 17 years old in college, in high school, we were given, it was called Senior Project. The last 6 weeks of school, we were given the opportunity to do whatever we wanted to do, go anywhere, to intern with somebody that in an industry that we thought we would want to get into. So I flew down to Palm Beach because it was, still like, I guess, February, March, whatever. It was cold in Boston. And I interned with Lawrence Mones. He's the #1 agent in Palm Beach. He has his own company. He doesn't even have he has a flip phone. He doesn't email. But he
old
makes,
school, okay.
Old school, but makes millions of dollars a year. And I interned with him, and I followed him for 6 weeks, and I saw how he made so much money and worked really not that much. But when he worked, it was smart, not hard. So I learned this philosophy: work smart, not hard. And he got the job done, but he just knew how to navigate and time management. And I learned that, and he was really my mentor to live that way, because I always wanted to enjoy my life and live lavishly and all of that, and not be just bogged down 24/7 doing ridiculous things. Because a lot of agents go into the office and work 10 to 6 and think that they're
busy, but they're not productive. Don't confuse. There's a productivity. What is it? What's the name? Don't confuse activity with productivity.
Yes.
Now, and we were talking about that off cameras. You're close to making $100 million this year in sales. Selling,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
In sales.
Right.
$100 million in sales is a lot of real estate.
And you can check that on the MLS. It's actually
exactly.
You can see all the pendings.
Right. So that's you are not working 10 times more than the person that is that's selling $10 million a year.
Right.
So clearly it's working smart. It's not working harder.
Right.
Like my coach Dan Sullivan says, it gets to a point where working hard no longer works. Right?
Yeah.
So what are some of 2 or 3 things that you do to work smart rather than hard?
Okay.
What advice would you give an agent?
Okay, so what I would tell agents is, you need to be the industry expert, okay? The authority on real estate. But not just real estate, but on everything to do with business, finance. You need to read the Wall Street Journal. You need to read the New York Times. I have Google alerts for Aspen real estate, Beverly Hills real estate, London real estate, Chinese real estate. Like, my Google alerts are like through the page. And I just read every morning about all the markets because, people, you don't know who you're dealing with and where they are coming from. Reading these Google alerts, reading the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, all of these magazines and whatnot about the market, you need to really understand the market. Miami is a global city and people are coming from all over the world, so you need to know your audience. When I moved to Miami, I took culture courses because I wanted to learn about all the different cultures.
And let me stop you right there. Let me ask you, where do you take those courses?
I had a person that I hired. He was like a coach.
Okay, you're investing in your business.
Exactly.
Very, very good point. Okay.
Investing in yourself and in your business, yes. And just knowing everything, because you may have a buyer from New York coming down who's looking for something, and if you don't really understand maybe like the New York market or perhaps where they live, you may not understand what they're looking for down here. So you really need to research and know your audience, and that is so important, and that's working smart.
Right.
Okay, because if you don't get it and you're not having a vibe with somebody, they're not going to want to work with you.
Most a New Yorker, even though Coral Gables, which is where I live, is a great place, but New Yorkers usually don't buy in Coral Gables, right? So you need to understand your audience, right?
Yes.
Where they want to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Coral Gables, Coconut Grove. A lot of New Yorkers are buying in Coconut Grove now because they love the waterfront.
Right.
They love the marina, and they feel like that's maybe like the seaport of New York City a little bit. So you really need to know who you're dealing with and be educated on everything that's going on. Don't let your client tell you something about a sale that just happened.
Exactly.
The Faena house just sold for $60 million. Well, you better know that happened before you want to tell them that.
See, when we talk about, and I was interviewing Gus Rubio from Douglas Elliman, the chief operating officer, we were talking about service, and many agents talk about, well, I provide very good service. Service is not only being available to your clients, but the service is adding that value, the expertise, and that's why you get the big money, the big commission checks, is that you have the expertise to help your client make an informed decision.
Sure.
Now, do you do it at a particular time during the day, in a specific place? I know you drive a lot. What habits do you have to develop that, to acquire that knowledge, which in turn converts into confidence?
Okay.
All right?
Uber.
Okay, Uber.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. Let me explain.
I love that.
Because
Uber.
I live in Palm Beach predominantly.
Okay.
I do have an apartment in Miami, but I spend so much time on 95, and I am not going to waste that time. Okay.
Listen to this, guys, and this is one of my productivity hack number 1. It's Uber. So keep going. Okay.
So don't text and drive.
Okay.
No email. No text is worth your life. Right. Okay. I love my car so much. I love driving it. I don't want to destroy it. So. And I love my life, obviously. So, take an Uber, invest in a driver, whatever it is. So when you have to be in the car, you're maximizing your time. Checking up on emails. You had asked me earlier, do I read books? Do I, I listen to Joel Osteen on the tape.
Very good.
He's in my ears all the time, and then I'm emailing, and then if a call comes in, well, Joel stops and the call goes in. So you have to keep yourself always going, and don't waste a minute.
Right.
And driving, you're wasting a lot of time.
See, that's a great point. One of the productivity hacks, and I send emails to the people that we coach, productivity hacks, one, it's in Uber. I have no downtime from the moment I'm in my leave my office to the moment I go to do a seminar, or record in the studio. No downtime at all. Right. Why? Because all you have to do is open your laptop, connect it to your phone,
Yeah.
and that's your office right there
Yes,
with Uber.
course.
But people don't even want to invest that money. It's an
Right.
investment, a great investment.
It is.
Very, very good.
And it's an investment in your health too,
Yeah,
because
of
God
course.
forbid,
Of
something
course.
happens.
Okay. So what do you think, what attributes makes the most successful real estate agents, or what made you so successful in real estate?
Okay. I think my sensitivity, my ability to be in someone else's shoes, to make sure that whoever you're talking to and dealing with, you are in their shoes. You understand where they're coming from as a buyer, as a seller, how they're feeling, how what you're going to say to them and deliver to them, how are they going to respond to that? You really need to make sure that you understand that, because a lot of us, we just talk, and then we're not really answering the question, or we're not giving them what they want. So you really have to just be very shrewd and smart about that. And also making other people feel important. That's
So
something-
going from the agent-centric approach to the client-agent approach, you're going to the client, having the client be in the center of the conversation.
True, but also, you're delivering a counter even to somebody.
Okay.
How are they going to feel when you tell them that your offer was rejected, or that it only, you have to really be sensitive and attune to your audience and who you're talking to, and also making other people feel important. They're your clients. Customer is always right. I'm the biggest nightmare customer you'll ever meet.
As a customer,
when I walk into Neiman Marcus, I want everyone to be like, okay, Chris, let me do, and I give the same thing. So I expect a lot and I give a lot. And I think that that's something that people know, that they are going to be responded to virtually immediately. They're going to get the best service. They're going to get the best knowledge, and they're going to get someone who's sensitive and understands and gets it. And they feel like they're important. They feel elevated. They feel like this guy really treats me like I'm his only customer. Well, this customer may be one of 20 customers I have, but they will always feel like they're the only one that I have. And that's important.
So number one, it's making your customer, it's not only giving great service, but making your client feel important.
Yeah.
Oh no, another one. What makes you so successful in real estate?
I think also that I am very knowledgeable. I thank the media too, because by being on Fox Business News and Bloomberg and all these shows, and of course $1 Million Listing was fun and did elevate me. I think that that's also really helping me in my business too, because it's elevating me to be this expert. And social media, I think, is really important. I even think.
How much do you use social media?
Oh, a lot. I mean, I hire I have a publicist. And even if you're not famous or whatever, you may want to even invest a little bit in somebody to boost your image a bit.
But you're famous within you're famous at a national level, but some other agents can be famous in their community. And that'll be more than enough to make a very good living.
Yeah, so be that expert. If you love, Bay Harbor Islands, whatever it is, be Mr. or Mrs. Bay Harbor Islands.
Exactly.
Be Mr. or Mrs. Bal Harbor.
And
invest in your money and in your marketing, and even maybe you do hire a publicity team to elevate you in that level. Make sure you're in the Bal Harbor magazine. Make sure that you're the go-to.
That's all. See that, and that's what we're talking off camera, and that's when we're talking to agents, is the big difference between being an expert, which many agents are expert, and being an authority. The authority is when people see you as the real expert. There are many agents that are experts, but they are not authorities. The difference is that they are famous, whether it's a national way, the way you are, in a national platform, or in a small community. But be that authority in your small building, then you go to the next building, the community, and then you come to the city, and then nationwide. But it's becoming that authority, so you don't compete, but you dominate that small market.
Dominate, yes, absolutely. In the nicest way.
In the nicest way. Now, you came from
You
New York.
annihilate everyone in the nicest way.
But again, it's all about dominating,
Right.
all right? And it's not about putting anybody down.
No.
It's just about, growing and as a professional, as a person, more and more and more. Now, you have business in New York. You still have business in New York.
I do. Because I can't be there as much as I'd like to. I mean, I am I love New York and it's great. I just unfortunately love this weather way too much
Okay.
to move back.
Okay.
But I think I refer my business
Okay.
to the guys on the New York show.
Okay.
Two of
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good. All
which
right.
is fun.
All right.
And they send me tons of business. So it's a great
Because
relationship
New Yorkers
there.
are investing in Miami a lot.
Absolutely. It's the
Right.
same client.
And now Miami was your second market, and now you've been developing already.
Yes.
Palm Beach.
Correct.
Right.
So what happens is I'm also a firm believer in putting out to the universe what you really want.
Okay.
Okay. Just saying, imagining it happening.
Okay.
Right? Not saying I want this, I want that,
Right.
because the word want doesn't get you
Yeah.
what you need. So I always dreamed of living in Palm Beach Island and working and making a lot of money there.
Okay.
Now,
Which is happening already.
which is happening because now I'm doing this amazing new project called the Bristol.
Okay, tell me a little bit about it.
It's a 69 unit, 25-story glass tower right over the bridge in West Palm Beach, but it overlooks Palm Beach Island and the ocean.
Okay.
And prices start at $5 million. They go all the way up to $50 million. I've already sold $92 million in signed contracts.
Very nice.
Again, check your MLS because they're in our Palm Beach MLS.
Okay.
They will be soon. Actually,
Okay.
they're getting, that's being done now. But we haven't even really started sales yet, so it's pre-sales.
Okay.
But signed contracts.
Okay.
And the building will be ready fourth quarter 2017.
Okay.
It is.
And you're managing the whole.
I'm the director of the
Right,
of
okay.
sales. Yep. It is like the Fianna House of Palm Beach.
Okay.
It's like the
top of the
157 in New York of Palm Beach. So
Okay.
it's the highest level finish, the highest level amenities and services I think that Palm Beach County has ever seen.
Wow.
There hasn't been a new construction building in over a decade
And this
in
is
Palm
like
Beach.
okay.
So, and you can't build that high on Palm Beach Island, so that's why this building's just right over the bridge. It's right on Flagler Drive, right on the water. It's incredible.
And in Miami, your biggest sale in Miami.
So my biggest sale, which I held the record for a year,
Okay.
$34 million,
Okay.
but I just got trumped
Okay.
by the $60 million sale of Fianna
yes.
House.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
William Pierce and I, Coldwell banker William Pierce.
Yes, yes.
He and I sold the penthouse at Edition.
Right,
I had the listing,
right.
he had the buyer.
Okay.
And that was the biggest sale in
And
Florida history.
that was 34 million.
34 million,
Right,
yeah.
right.
It was a penthouse. And so that was nice to have that
Of
under my
course,
belt. So
right.
now, no longer
Now, well, you have
$60
to-
million. So now I got to work harder. But there's a big sale at my project in Palm Beach that I can
Okay.
talk about soon. So
Now, one thing that I want your take from, it's you came from the New York environment, business environment. You moved from California to New York. What did you learn in New York that made you so competitive and have the advantage in South Florida? How do you compare the New York in business environment to Miami? Does that give you an edge?
Oh, absolutely.
Why? Tell me a little bit
Okay,
about
so
it.
in New York, it is such a fast pace. From the minute you walk out of your apartment front door, it's like this insanity, right?
Right.
And there is no time or space
Okay.
for complacency.
Right.
I think that in Miami, we no offense to Miami, but
No,
there's
it's
a little
different.
bit of a lag time,
right.
right? People show up a little bit later,
Right.
and in New York City, you cannot be 2 minutes late to an appointment because
Right.
that buyer is probably out for lunch.
Right.
They're working in the stock market. They've got to get back,
Right.
So there's no tolerance for that. There's no tolerance. Oh, I'm so sorry, my car broke down. It's no. You're there. You're on. There's no time in it, and because of the pace, if you are like just hanging out, you feel guilty. It's just like you're like, oh my God, I'm a loser. I need to be doing something.
Okay.
So it's just the pace and the energy of New York is so strong and keeps you so buttoned up and on and energetic
Focused.
and focused that I think that carries with me now. And going back every week or 2 weeks to New York, I get that.
Oh, so you're
injection.
re-energized.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
Now, and it makes your business easier in Miami because you
Yes.
can dominate much easier than it
Exactly.
is in New York.
Absolutely.
Right.
I feel like I could outwork 90% of some of the
Right,
agents.
right.
That
And not only outwork them, but work smarter.
yes, exactly.
Now, what are some of the pitfalls you see or the problems real estate agents are encountering today in 2015?
It's very competitive. Okay.
Exactly.
But that's the problem. By you saying it's so competitive, you're putting yourself in the thing.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You can still outwork all those people. There could be millions of it. Everyone could be an agent. Doesn't mean that you can't be the top or the best. And I think that people just have to mentally focus. I think that agents, it's very important for agents to be on their game mentally, like all the time.
Right.
Because it's about reinventing yourself every day. It's about having to pick yourself up like an actor who maybe loses a role. You got to keep going.
And how do you do that when you're down? You mentioned one of the tips, which is listening to Joel Osteen.
Oh yeah.
So what do you do when you lose? You had a pending sale and it didn't go through, or when you lose a listing. It happens to the best agents, or when you donate a listing that you were supposed to get. How do you come back from that?
So don't go to the bar and have 5 martinis with your friends, 'cause you're going to feel even worse the next day.
Okay.
Go take a boxing class, take a hot yoga class.
Okay.
Just I box every morning.
Okay.
This guy comes to my house.
Okay.
And I just
That's like great productivity.
Oh, it is,
right
because
there.
every time you hit that glove, you're like, that's the icon sale. That's the apogee jerk. That's the this, right?
Very good.
You get it out and you release it, and then when you're done, you're ready to get back into it. And I think that you have to have a thick skin in this business, but don't become tarnished. Still be excited about it, still love it, and be passionate about it. But it is hard. It is very difficult to keep going and keep at it day after day after day. And save your money. Don't spend everything at once. Because there may be a month where it's slower than other months.
And we were talking off camera that you learned through these 20 years to reinvent yourself and change your business according to the market. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure.
Because we're in an up market right now. Well, it's a cyclical business, so it's going to go down anywhere in the world. So what happens? What do you do when the market comes down a little bit?
Okay, so I don't believe in. I believe that you shouldn't spread yourself too thin, so you can't take on everything, right? But I think that you should always meet everybody, okay, who calls you and wants to work with you. So for instance, I had a listing, I definitely deal in the much higher end, but I had a client call and say, I want to buy a $350,000 one bedroom and I want you to help me. And typically I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna refer that to the assistant or someone in my office. And something told me, and this is again, through being in the business a long time, hearing how this person was sounding on the phone, I just felt like I should meet with him, right? So I met with him, showed him 3 things. He bought one, cash, closed in 3 days later, and then he gave me $1.5 million listing after. Then I got a $3 million listing for his dad. So don't ever turn away business because you may need that business at some point. So, and you also need to know that selling a $300,000 apartment isn't a bad thing. Okay, so and you may the market in the high end may shift in 3 months from now, and it's quiet, and you have to move into that market. So be flexible and be knowledgeable about all facets of the market, because you may have to move into that sector for a bit until the other picks up.
And now to end up this beautiful, amazing conversation, it's what's in for you, what's next for Chris for the next 12, 18 months. What do you have in place? What listings do you have? You're developing this or selling this beautiful project, the Bristol, right?
Right, exactly.
And in Palm Beach, 69 units.
69 units.
Starting at $5 million.
Yes.
And how do you see your business growing, and what strategies do you have for your business to grow for the next 12, 18 months?
So basically, that building is having $600 million in listings, essentially.
That's a sellout.
That's great. So those are all my listings, and I have the ability to sell those. But that's not enough for me, because I don't want to pigeon myself into just one thing.
Once it's
so
over.
So now my goal is to build relationships with all those people buying. Okay. So maybe I get the listing on their huge estate on the island. I want to become the number
authority.
one agent in Palm Beach, on Palm Beach Island, in Palm Beach County, because I'm passionate about that. I love Miami, obviously, and I sell here and everything, but I believe in the future of Palm Beach right now. I think it's a city that's on the verge of going really high up very, very quickly and rapidly, and I want to be on that pulse. I want to be at the top of that game there. Okay, so the person to go to it's Chris Leavitt when we want to talk about Palm Beach. True, and also I do have the most expensive listings now. Well, a couple. I mean, with the Bristol, we have 20 million and right. So where are they? Tell me a little bit about the listings. So they the square footage ranges from 3,500 to over 14,000 at the Bristol. At the Bristol, we're talking about the Bristol. Right. So basically, the least expensive is 4.8 million, and the most expensive when we put it on the market will be close to 40 million. Wow. So huge numbers for the area. Great listings to have. I mean, I'm very blessed to have that project. Very good. Very good. One final piece of advice
for our audience, I mean, for the new agent or the experienced agent, what would you say to that person that wants to grow their business, whether they're new or experienced?
Yes.
One thing that you would say, listen, if you want to grow your business, you should do this.
Okay. If you want to grow your business, you should let everyone that you know, who you've ever met in your life, know that you're in the real estate business, okay? Whether that's an announcement card, an email, whatever, and utilize social media. It's free, it's incredible. I've sold apartments on social media, through Facebook, through Instagram, through Twitter. It works, it's a useful tool. Just do it right and manage it right, and separate your personal from your business. So if you like to go and drink champagne all day long, just don't let anyone know about it. or keep that on lock.
Right.
You know, because perception is everything.
It's everything, exactly.
And you want to be that professional expert who's buttoned up and who knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
You don't want to be known as the party person. I told a very close friend of mine who's getting into the business, I said, you need to shut down your personal Facebook because no one's going to want to work with you.
Exactly. Chris, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming to the
much.
show. I would stay here talking for 1 more hour, but we got to keep it close to 30 minutes. So it's been an honor to have you here. And until next time, make it a very, very productive day. Take care, guys.